get so complicated?
Yeah, we didn't really need doctors and nutritionists to tell us what to eat for most of our history of humanity, right?
Right.
And now everybody's confused. We know that the most powerful drug on the planet is food. We had a woman in one of our groups at Cleveland Clinic this week who had been on insulin for 20 years, a type 2 diabetic, and within 3 weeks, she's completely off insulin and medications, and her blood sugars are normal. That's the power of food. There's no drug that can do that.
Right. How are you eating now? Do you have a specific, are you a vegan or a vegetarian or a...
And so I was sitting on a panel once with a vegan cardiologist and a friend of mine who was a paleo doc, and they were fighting like cats and dogs.
There you are.
And I'm like, well, if you're paleo and you're vegan, I must be pegan.
There you go.
And I joked, and we don't need another diet, and I did it as a spoof. But it's not a diet, it's a set of principles. And there are things that almost everybody agrees on, including the paleo and vegan communities and everybody in between. And so I basically just synthesized the research into some 12 really simple principles that people can follow.
Do you hear your cats?
I hear my cats. Yoda and Bodhi, they're very rambunctious. I think the way we grow meat in the planet is harmful. 70% of the world's agricultural lands are used to grow food for animal production. 70% of our fresh water, which is only 5% of the world's water supply, is used to grow animals. It's a bad system,
right,
and it's causing enormous environmental destruction. And when you look at the entire food system as a whole, including food waste and all the components, it's the number one cause of climate change.
You also had shocking statistics in there that with these farm-fed animals, with cattle, for example, they were being fed candy in candy wrappers.
Yes, they're fed stale candy.
Stale candy, like...
They're fed ground up animal parts. There's all kinds of junk
that
they eat. And you know, you're not what you eat. You are what you are eating ate.
Right.
My mother had the Betty Crocker cookbook. And there was a picture of Betty Crocker on the front of the cookbook. And I thought Betty Crocker was a real person.
So did I.
And turns out she was a fabrication of the food industry. So General Mills convened a group to get them all colluding together to actually create this culture of convenience. And then they started doing things like getting back Betty Crocker cookbook, which was, if you remember the recipes, they were add 1 can of Campbell's cream of chicken soup, or
to your casserole,
add your Velveeta cheese, or add your Ritz crackers to the whatever casserole. And so they then moved on to TV dinners and to more and more processed food and more fast food. And we end up, having this culture where Americans don't know how to cook anymore. They've literally hijacked America's kitchens, our taste buds, our brain chemistry, our metabolism, and we need to take them back. I think the first hurdle is getting off of junk, getting off of processed food, getting off of fast food, and eating real food. We are enormously powerful, and the thing that we do every day is we vote 3 times a day with our fork.
Right.
We vote for its impact on our health, on our planet, on the economy, on politics, on social justice. All these things matter, and we have enormous power. Imagine what would happen if everybody on the planet decided to not eat any processed food for a day. Everything would change. If I were king for a day, I would change the subsidies to support regenerative agriculture and remove them from industrial agriculture. I would change our dietary guidelines to match the science and not be corrupt and just confusing. I would end all food marketing to kids and of all junk food and any food that doesn't promote health. I would implement soda and junk food taxes, which have worked around the world. I would have a really radical different approach to food labeling that makes it clear what people are eating and get money out of politics.
You have my vote for, king for the day.
Thank you.